the training camp been like? It seems like certainly over the past several days you've been able to get into a rhythm here.
I mean, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable, with the offense, having it be, kind of your third year. First year, it's like sink or swim. Second year, you kind of learn and you get better. And third year, it's kind of like your chance to really put it all together and go out and, make sure you are capitalizing on every play that's being made. And I feel a lot more comfortable with, where I'm at, especially as a player, just in general. So it's about kind of putting that all together and going out with the confidence that you need to kind of just attack your work.
How different is the room without Jason Witten?
I mean, it's not like it is different in the fact that we don't have that old guy who's your go-to for every question. We kind of need to have a little more open conversation just about what we're feeling. Where it's Witt was an open book. We're like, dude, what were you thinking here? And he was always the one that you could go to ask questions about how he saw different coverages, what he thought on different stems, how he attacked different blocks. And it's now that we have that knowledge, it's kind of we try to apply as much as we can, and then talk about that same mindset, in the room as kind of an open dialogue. So, I mean, he was a huge help to the room. And now that he's gone, it's kind of about taking what he's, taught us and using that to kind of propel ourselves forward.
How often does that show up in a given practice where you'll run a route a certain way, or you'll read a coverage a certain way, a leverage a certain way, and look back and think to yourself, Jason taught me that, Witten taught me that?
I mean, speaking personally, I mean, damn near every play. I mean, the way that, he taught us to kind of think about running routes was first, it's yeah, you got to know the play, you got to know what route you have, but it's also you got to understand who you're running it off of, who the cover guy is that's responsible for you in a defense, and then it's how do you manipulate him and how do you set him up to win. So it's literally every single play is there's something that he's kind of taught the room that shows up. So it was, I mean, me and Blake were talking. It's we learned more from him probably in that year. And I know Blake had 2 years with him, but in that year than I probably would have learned in 5. So he gave us a big head start that we're trying to capitalize on and we need.
This roster doesn't really have some traditional fullbacks. Coach McCarthy talks about having the tight ends play some of the fullback role. How do you feel in that, and just kind of where are you at in that process?
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of fullback my rookie year. We kind of bounced around and did some things out of some of those packages, but it's a little different. But it's actually it makes life a little bit easier because truly when you're back there in the backfield, you see the whole picture and you can get so much more information. So I think a lot of those packages are going to be really good for us in terms of what we're able to do out of those. And I think playing fullback is helped me as a player just in terms of it's a different game back there because you're coming 5 yards back from the line of scrimmage, linebackers coming 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and it's a freaking collision every time. So it's you got to make sure your leverage is right, you got to make sure your hat placement's right because it's there's not a lot of room for error when you're filling holes on Jalen Smith and Leighton. So it's it's been a good challenge and it's been fun.
You didn't know what the room was like with Witten as a rookie. Then you had him in the room last year. Is it kind of weird to go back and forth on that? So there's so much talk about Witten, and then he's there, and then he's not again.
I mean, not really. I was hoping that he was going to be here my rookie year, and then he left, comes back. I use that as just a great opportunity because I mean that's a guy that I've looked up to and I've tried to model my game afterwards. I think we talked about that my rookie year, but I tried to soak up as much information as I could from that man, and he was, like I said, he was a very open book with us. So he was always happy to talk and happy to help us in whatever ways he could, and I just kind of used that as an opportunity to try to better myself in the mental aspects of the game because I think at this level that's the thing that separates you, and especially to put it in his words, tight end is a job where you're the kind of the weak strong guy and the slow fast guy, so it's you're always at a disadvantage in whatever situation that you're in, and so you have to use your mental tools to try to figure out ways to beat a guy who's maybe faster and more athletic than you, or beat a guy who's bigger and stronger than you at the line of scrimmage. And so like each detail of your technique, and if you can diagnose what's going on pre-snap, is going to help you get that job done. So I think putting it in that perspective, it kind of conveyed to me how critical and crucial those pre-snap mannerisms and, you know, those little minute details are.
Dalton, Kellen's still your offensive coordinator, but Coach McCarthy's come in, put in some of his principles to the offense too. Where have been the biggest changes for y'all since last year?
I think just a couple of different like pass concepts. There's been some, you know, wrinkles and, you know, in a couple of routes that, you know, the tight ends have, especially, you know, over the middle, down the seams. And I think those are good for us. We switched up a couple of things we do on backsides of certain routes concepts. And, you know, I think they're working for us. I mean, we're seeing a lot of action. The quarterbacks definitely have a great feel for the stuff we do. And I think we're going to have a lot of good opportunities this year for sure.
McCarthy told us yesterday that it was important to him to make sure that Kellen still was really calling the shots, and Zach also said that when he got here, Coach sat him down and said, look, Kellen's doing this. How have you seen Kellen really continue to be that guy and be the one who's leading now?
I mean, I always looked at Kellen like my OC, so it's like, you know, nothing really changed for me. I mean, Kellen's kind of our guy, and, you know, he's still running the meetings, putting everything in. You know, he's an open book as well. Go have a conversation with him. We had a conversation about, like, you know, marrying up a certain, you know, look before the Sunday, the Cowboys night thing. And, you know, he was like, yeah, that makes total sense. And like, so I think having that dialogue has been great. And, you know, I see Kellen as the same guy. So.
There were a number of games last season where you might maybe saw a couple snaps or a few snaps, and it would seem like that would be really difficult to do, where you know you're only going to get a very defined number of opportunities in a given game. It was going to be hard not to spread and try to do too much maybe when you are on the field. What was that like in terms of trying to get into a rhythm when there isn't as much opportunity from a snap count standpoint?
Well, I mean, I try to make sure that I was ready to go for every snap I got, because you don't know if a guy's going to go down. You don't know, you know, if we're going to be on goal line for 10 snaps, and it's like, you know, a lot of those, you know, situations, you know, short yardage, goal line, special teams were kind of like my snaps, and like that was kind of my role last year. And so I did my best to make sure that I was ready to go and I was still locked into the game. I mean, it's never easy, like being a backup, because every guy wants to play, right? But it's like you have to fight that mindset of like, all right, you know, these guys got it. You know, I'm going to come in and get my few plays and get out. And it's like I made sure that I was ready. And a lot of that, again, went back to, you know, Witten's thing of just having that mental preparation of, you know, being prepared to take advantage of that snap whenever that is.
What do you think it'll do for you this season, just being able to perhaps get into, all that said, being able to get into perhaps more of a rhythm with more snaps this year?
I mean, I hope so. You know, I'm ready to take advantage of every opportunity that I get. And, you know, I think as a tight end room, we feel pretty good at, you know, with where everybody is. And so, you know, it's just about having that confidence to go out there and get that job done.
How often do you still have the chance to have conversations with Ness, and what's that relationship like now that he's still in the building tonight?
Oh, we give him a lot of crap every day, you know, saying, oh, okay, you go to the quarterback room. All right, I guess, you know, we're not getting any balls anymore. So it's like it's fun. We have a great relationship with Nuss, and honestly, I'm glad he's around. He was a hell of a coach, and so keeping him close by has been good for us, and you know, it allows, you know, that connection between the tight end and the quarterback room to be pretty, you know, seamless. So I'm glad he's still around.
Zach said yesterday he supports individual expression during the anthem. How do you guys reconcile that as players with Jerry's desire to have the team do something unified?
Well, I think, you know, especially for a guy in my role, it's kind of my job to listen and, you know, get a feel for, you know, how we want to take action as a team. Honestly, I've been trying to, you know, listen as much as I can in these last few months and, you know, educate myself on all these issues that, you know, might not have been so prevalent for, you know, a man like me growing up in America. And so I think, you know, it's important for us to just keep an open heart and listen to these guys and support, you know, the movement in any way that we can. And, you know, whatever that action might look like, you know, I'm going to support them and I'm going to support this team.
What kind of opportunity has it been like for you? You're right, you know, as a white man in America, which much to have a good idea of what it looks like to not be a white man in America. The opportunity to listen to your teammates' stories. What has that been like for you?
Well, it's been amazing, and especially in a sport like this, there's open dialogue all the time, between teammates, between coaches, and I think, I came from a pretty like bubbled area, and in Utah, and having the experience to first get out of state and go to California and have a bunch of interactions with people from all over the world, like literally people from every walk of life doing the most incredible things was like the biggest growing point for me. Just having that opportunity to go out and talk to people who come from different backgrounds, talk to people who are literally across the world and have come here to study robotic mechanics or like quantum engineering and all this crazy stuff. So it's like just to get different perspectives. I think that was kind of that 4 years was the biggest shift in my mindset and realization of like, wow, like this is like how things really are. And I think having those conversations and honestly just educating yourself like as a human, like I don't care what you believe in so much as you better be educated and you better be ready to back up those points. So I think that's the most important thing.
What would be your message to somebody who maybe lives in that quote unquote bubble and hasn't had the opportunity to have some of those conversations and observations that you've been able to accumulate? What would be your message to say somebody back at home who's been at home throughout the course of their life?
Think for yourself. Don't regurgitate information that's kind of fed to you. Go out and study. Go out and have conversations. Like, if you're gonna read things from one source, like go read things that you disagree with. Honestly, like, and that goes in any subject. Like, if you're this side, go read the other side. Like that could help kind of formulate your opinion. And that again, that goes for all walks of life. Just make sure you're taking as much information as you can to make your own opinion. And so, you're thinking for yourself and like, I don't like to be ignorant, and I like to kind of like take the whole picture and then, try to clear my own path through that and make sense of that, how I want to, instead of just being like, somebody on the TV going, hey, this is the way things are. And like, taking that for factual information. I think it's important to make your own mind up about issues and everything. So.
I have one last question about football. There's no easy way to fit into it, but I did that. There's not a lot of 6'5" fullbacks in the league. So important when you're, barreling down into an A gap or a linebacker for you. How do you work your way through that?
Well, I think first of all, it's like I'm seeing run fits like as a running back, and I think one that kind of helps like in line as a tight end, but like two, it also is like a different it's a different ball game because you have to see blocks as like Zeke sees them. And so I think, the first few days I was kind of like, well, damn, I don't know where I should fit. Like, I don't know how these plays, kind of marry up in terms of, how I'm supposed to get to my guy. And I think, working through that as the weeks progressed, it's gotten a lot easier. So I think at first it was tough because I was kind of bouncing around and trying to find my way through gaps. And now I can see it easier. So I'm able to stay low and get around blocks and, anticipate, where the back is going. So I think I've gotten a lot more comfortable with that. And like I said, dude, you're barreling down on, a guy that's, a couple inches shorter than you and packs a freaking hell of a punch. So it's like you come through that hole, you got to make sure you stay low and come correct. So.
Yeah. And usually a fullback is in the running back room, obviously. So he's able to say with Zeke, be able to watch film together, be able to say, what do you see on this play, what do you see on that play, and just have all that time together. You're
yeah.
Are you taking some time with Zeke to be able to see things similarly?
Well, I'll ask him. Like, we have all these like walkthroughs and mock games, and out at practice today, I asked him like, hey, how do you see this hole? Like, how do you see, like, where do you see yourself kind of putting this ball against this defense? And we were able to kind of have a conversation about that, and it's pretty easy. He's a hell of a back, so it's like as long as you like get a shoulder on a guy, like he's gonna make you right. So it's like I have a lot of confidence in him, and so it's like I kind of trust his judgment. I see it the way he kind of sees it now, so it makes it easy, and it's nice when you have a running back that's able to, have a conversation about that stuff with you too.
In the receiving game, we've seen you do a lot of things in the last couple of weeks that maybe we wouldn't have seen you do a year ago. What has Dak said to you about the progress you've made?
Well, there's probably been a handful of us, being able to put in some work, and I think that it's helped us, significantly, especially in the off season. So I think, there's nothing's been said. It's just kind of been like I can tell like he's got a lot of confidence in me now, and I've got a lot of confidence in myself and breaking a guy down and breaking a route off. So I think that relationship is growing. I was glad that I was able to get so much work with him, and I think that's finally paying off.
This is the last one, guys.
Is this the longest in your life that you've gone without being tackled? And what's that?
Dude, it feels so weird. We were talking about it the other day. We're like, dude, what's it gonna feel like when you just get like rocked like the first time you get tackled? So it's like, well, we've been doing like some kind of like half speed mat drills where it's like the offense has a ball in their hand, defense is coming through and tackling. But I mean, we're tackling on the mats, so it's like it'll probably feel good, honestly. Like once you get tackled for the first time, it's like, oh, okay, there we go. It's like out of the way. It's like the first play of every game. It's like just get that first hit out of the way, and it's like you find your groove. So yeah, but yeah, it's definitely weird not having any live ball. I think it's smart, but again, it's just different.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thanks.